Hello, I'm Dan Frischberg, and I'm excited to have you here right now. I really like being live to meet you personally, but this is the practical COVID way. The subject is that there's an opportunity that isn't going to wait for COVID. You know, everyone who's been paying attention for even a minute can see we're just at the beginning of the biggest money-making opportunity of our lives. I started investing 60 years ago, and I've never seen another time when everything lined up perfectly for easy profits like it is now. It's actually bigger than the boom at the end of World War II, and people are still talking about that one. Now, there's a good chance we'll not see another chance like this in our lifetimes. We've got three major boom events, and they're all happening at the same time. I'm going to show you exactly how we're taking advantage of them right now. First, there's the post-COVID boom. The whole world is getting ready to rebuild. It doesn't matter if it takes a month or a year. The process of getting back to normal is going to make a fortune for the businesses that power the recovery all over the world. Home builders, stores, airlines, cruise lines, restaurants, road builders. How about the people who build the internet towers in India? Everyone who positions themselves right is going to make a fortune. So what business do you own that's going to be on the receiving end of all that money? I don't know what airline is going to make a profit first, because they're all going to be competing with bargains. And I don't know which cruise line, theme park. You know, at first, they're all giving away the store to jumpstart their businesses. I signed up for a cruise, and they gave me a balcony suite for the price of an inside cabin with bunk beds. All these businesses are going to be losing money at first, but they have to get their customers back. But whether they make money or lose money, the customers are going to be paying with Visa and Mastercard. These card companies are going to profit even if the airline or the cruise line loses money on the deal. I own Mastercard and Visa, so I'll be making money on every deal. How about you? The second huge opportunity happening at the same time, the whole world is going through this unstoppable digital transformation. The people who don't understand it are calling it some kind of tech bubble. Folks, this is not a tech bubble. The world is changing because we've invented better ways of doing things. The world's changing right now, and we're only at the beginning of it. The profits are just starting. Think about how your life has changed in the last few years. I was on my way downtown, and I remembered I needed sneakers. So I was at a red light, I pulled out my phone and clicked to Amazon, and my wife said, "You're going to get us killed." So finally, I pulled over into a parking lot and bought the sneakers. It took me 1 minute. And of course, they were delivered to my house the next morning. 5 billion people in the world can't do all this yet, but they really want to. But 500 million people in India just got internet. 1 billion of them just got access to electricity, and most of them are not even hooked up yet. In a couple of years, their kids are going to be going to college and getting computers just like your kids do. Everything we've invented to change our lives here in America is going to be everywhere over the next 5 or 10 years. They'll all be buying that stuff from me because I own the companies that make their internet load fast, that power their computers, credit cards, and ATM cards, all of it. And every time they use that stuff, it's like they're sending me a check. Now, how about you? Are you participating? The third opportunity you're going to learn to take advantage of, most people haven't even noticed it yet, but it's happening as we speak. It is the destruction of paper money. Did you ever see anybody make trillions of anything before? 1,000 million. Now they've printed $6 trillion, trillions of euros and pounds and yen, trillions of them. So when you print trillions of something, it's not scarce anymore, right? Which means everything we need that you can't print costs more in paper money because the paper money is going to lose value. Now, you don't have to be an economist to understand this. That's why the companies that mine copper and make cement are already getting ready to make a fortune. Now, this is already happening, and it's just the beginning, just getting started. Now, are you in these businesses to profit from all this? I am, and you can be. Now, this is about how you can be a big part of it. We're not going to talk generalities. I'm going to give you specifics, facts, and numbers. So why do I get to bring you this opportunity? How did I get here? 60 years ago in New York City, I had the luckiest break anybody ever had. This one lucky break made me millions, and now it can do the same thing for you. You're looking at the projects in New York City, and it's where I grew up. All of us were poor there, and we didn't even know how to sell drugs 75 years ago. All the kids had ideas about how to get out of the projects. We were all planning to be boxers or baseball players. We weren't thinking about Olympics. We were thinking about Yankee Stadium or Madison Square Garden because that's where the rec department used to take us. My grandfather was a very smart guy. He was an author and a teacher who came over on an open boat from Russia. It was so cold on that deck, they lost 2 kids on the trip. Now, luckily, my father wasn't one of them. My grandfather came to America because he read about the stock market, which he thought was the greatest invention in history. And he told me this: you're not going to be a boxer and you're not going to be a baseball player. The way for you out of here is going to be the New York Stock Exchange. So when I was around 13 years old, my father took me to the NYSE. It was about a mile walk from my house, and somehow, when we got there, he got the guards to let me in the back door where the members go in. Now, the only kids there were me and one other kid. I never saw any other kids down on the floor but the 2 of us. But they let me in whenever I came, and my family let me skip school to go there. The rule was, if I wasn't in school, I'd better be down there on the floor. And if I wasn't at the stock exchange, I had better be in school. Now, the members on the floor got a kick out of me, and I was so interested that they liked to talk to me about it. So one day, this specialist, I used to call him Mr. Bill, I think his stock was Polaroid. So he asked me this question, and I am asking you the same thing right now. How is it possible? This thing's been going up for 150 years, and almost all these guys end up losing money. How is that possible? You know, you can't even figure out a formula for how to lose money on a deal like this, but they do. Now, folks, I'm asking you the same thing right now. How could so many people be losing money when these stocks are always going up? Here's what he explained to me that day, and this answer made me millions of dollars over the years, and I really never had to work a day in my life other than the 3 years I spent in the Marine Corps. Here's the answer, and if you pay attention, this will change your life too. You see, these guys lose money because they're not thinking about investing in companies. They don't know anything about the companies they invest in. They think they're in a game to guess what each other are going to do next. They turn the greatest opportunity in the world into a gambling casino. And people are still doing it, and they still end up losing their money. This is not a stock market, he explained to me. There is no stock market. These are companies that come here to this building to get partners and shareholders, and they want to raise money. Now, some of them are wonderful companies doing great things, and some of them are garbage. Bill said, why do you think I spend all this money to be down here? I don't gamble. I've specialized in a couple of companies all my life. I know everything about them. I know the CEO, the competition, how much profit they make, their addressable market. I know when to invest in them and when not to. But I make the real money on leverage. See millions of dollars of other people's money every day. They're buying and selling my company, Polaroid. Most of them have no idea about the company. They are gambling. But it's great for me, so folks, right from the beginning, I knew how to make money owning other people's companies. I started with really nothing. I worked my way through college trading silver contracts on the NYMEX. I spent most of my adult life traveling around the world, doing exactly what I wanted to do, living in Europe, living in Mexico. I would probably still be doing exactly the same thing, but I met this terrific girl in Houston, and she asked me a question after I got to know her that changed everything for me. She asked me this: are you doing everything you can to get us a good life together? Now, I got to tell you, I felt I was hit by a big electric shock, and I honestly became a different person in 1 second. I said, no, but I will do that from this moment on, and I did. Now, there is a great story about how Alicia created the Biz Radio Network and how she got me to be a regular contributor on CNBC and Fox. But the bottom line is, when people saw me on TV making money, and when I made them a lot of money, a lot of them wanted me to manage their money. So it was pretty easy to build a big money management business. And now I want to show you how we're taking advantage of all this opportunity now in 2021. It all started on the West Coast with Bill Gates and Microsoft. What Bill Gates and a bunch of young kids did was they went into a garage and they figured out how to take a bunch of orders and make a symbol for them, a picture. If you had icons to do all the things you wanted to do, you didn't have to program it. So they didn't really get rich because they did that. They got rich because they sold that idea and got people to invest money in it, and they built a company that did it, right? And then what they did was they started to offer to their employees stock options so that they could get the employees to get paid less. And so they were getting very good employees, but the employees were putting 30-40% of their money into this stock accumulation plan, and they were getting these long-term options, not the kind of options people trade where it's a month or two. They were getting long options. And what would happen is if the stock was at 25, they would get an option to buy the stock at 30, but they weren't vested. So when a stock got above 30, they couldn't do anything with it. They could either be on the plan or not be on the plan, right? And they were watching all the people that worked there for 10, 15 years retire as multimillionaires because they had these stock options and the stock kept going up. And so everybody that came there pretty much said, yeah, elected to be on the stock accumulation plan. That's how they built that company. And the people got rich, and other Silicon Valley companies started to do the same thing. And so people started to get rich working at these digital technology companies. They got rich because they ended up choosing to have a systematic accumulation plan. But the thing about those people that became multimillionaires is they didn't know anything about the stock market. They did not trade. And they really, what they knew was that the company was growing. They knew the salesmen were making money. So they knew the company was growing, and they were watching the people that got vested and retired in 10, 15 years, retiring with $10 million. And so they wanted to be on the plan. But to them, if the stock went down, they just got more options. So let me show you a little demonstration of this stuff. So this is about global transformation and how to do it. So you're seeing that picture of Microsoft. So I'm sure you've been aware of this, and this is not something new for you. But here's the stock back in 2017. It was in the 60s. And back in 2012, it was in the 30s. And this has been happening now. You can see it fluctuates a lot. And here in 2015, it was down for like 3/4 of the year. But the sales weren't down and the profits weren't down. It was just the stock. It was just a bunch of people trading in and out of it. It was fluctuating, but the sales were going up steadily all these years. And the sales eventually, my grandfather told me this when I was 14 years old. The stock price will eventually reflect how much money the company makes for the owners. And the fluctuating doesn't really matter. It's going to fluctuate all the time, but eventually the stock price is going to reflect how much money the company makes. That's what the stock is about. And so that's what's happening here with Microsoft. Here's what happened with Microsoft using those options. Over the last 3 years with the leap, Microsoft made 5,724%. That's 57 times the money on the leap options as the stock market. That means it turned 10 grand into $572,000 in 3 years, doing something steady that you already knew it was going to do. This is the point. You knew this stock was spreading around the world, and you probably subscribed to it yourself, right? You're on a PC, so you have a subscription to Microsoft. You pay them $100 a year. I pay them $100 a year, but they're getting people now in India are paying them $100 a year. They had 60 million subscribers in 2017. They had 90 million subscribers in 2020, and they're going to have 150 million 5 years from now because they're spreading all over the world. Now, you knew this, I knew it, and I just want to show you how it worked. So in October 2017, the stock was at 74 bucks. You see that? And if I bought that option, that leap, just like the employees buy, the $100 call on Microsoft, the stock was at 74. Now, most people would say, why would you bother buying a $100 option to buy the stock at 100? Why would you buy an option to buy the stock at 100? Because you can already buy it at 74, right? But the reason is because that's an option nobody wants, and it's a multi-year option, and I'm only paying 97 cents a share for it, whereas the stock was at 75 bucks. So I can buy many, many, many more shares by buying that long-term equity anticipation, that leap. So now here we are.
Is that like a standard option? Is that like a
well, yeah, but it's multi-year.
100 shares per what you buy
contract? Yes, exactly. But so that means that for $1,000, I'm getting 1,000 shares instead of 10 shares, right?
And you're just looking at it saying, well, we know it's going to keep going.
Yeah, of course. Exactly. Yes, and I'm checking the thing all the time, but I'm not checking it. I'm not buying it and selling it. But look, here we are. Here I am in January of 2019. And the stock fluctuated quite a bit during that time. But here I have the right to buy it at 100, right?
Right.
And now the stock's at 105. So that option was worth $7.50 at that time, $7.52. Well, I just turned 97 cents into $7.52 in a year and a half. That means I just turned $1,000 into almost $8,000. And now I want to go back down to the cheap ones again because I want more leverage. So I'm going to sell those $7.52 ones. The stock's at 105. Right now it's January of 2019, and the stock is at 105. And I'm going to buy a 150 multi-year option, a long-term option at 150. All right. Now that's, again, people would say, why would you buy it at 150? You can buy the stock at 105. But I want the leverage. I want to buy a lot of shares. So here I've got $8,000, right? I started with 1,000, got $8,000. And now I'm going to buy $8,000 worth of these 150 options, exactly like the employees are doing, but I'm paying $2.50 a piece, $2.49 a piece. And I'm getting $8,000 worth of them. And I don't worry about it trading up and down because I know that, just like you knew, I know that that company is going to be worth more money because they're getting more subscriptions. I don't care what those people are buying and selling the stock, because here on 2019, they had 60 million subscriptions, 90 million subscriptions. So here I have it at 249, but here in 19 of June of 2020, even after that virus was on, the stock was at 194. I had the right to buy it at 150, which means that each of these $2.49 leaps turned into being worth $45. So that was $8,000 times roughly 20. And so that's $160,000 right there.
Yep.
And I did not trade. I did change when I got to the point where the option was getting expensive and I wanted to move down to the lower ones, but I couldn't buy 5-year options. I had to buy 3-year options. But each time I do it, I'm going out further. So I'm doing exactly the same thing the employees are doing. And I knew, and you knew, that the stock was going to be worth more money. You just weren't sure exactly what to do about it. And what people are doing is they're watching the chart and trying to figure out when's it going to go up and when's it going to go down. I know in the long run where it's going. And so I'm just buying inexpensive leaps that allow me to multiply that money. So here we are in June of 2020. Stock was at 195. I've got what, $150,000 worth of those things, and I go in and buy the $6 option to be able to buy the stock at 260. And of course, it's not over yet. And I did not have to do any worrying about whether those people were buying or selling the stock or what the chart was, because this is what I'm doing. This is who my customer, as an owner of Microsoft, this is what I call digital transformation. You see that?
Yeah.
You see this? These people are my customer, and they're buying it no matter what, right? Here's a guy. This is my customer, and what they're doing is they're getting banks, and I don't know who their banker is, but I know they're getting a Mastercard, and when they get that Mastercard, they become my subscriber because I got these same leaps on Mastercard doing the same thing. Digital transformation of the world. So here's this lady's husband who they were living in a grass hut. Now they got a business. They're not quite living like you do, but they got a business and they're subscribing to Microsoft, and they have a Mastercard also. So they're buying both of those things from me. Now, you know about Twilio, another digital transformation?
Nope, don't know.
All right, let me tell you what it is. When you authenticate your account at your broker, where you authenticate your account on Zoom, in order for you to make a change, they say, okay, we're going to authenticate. Do you still have the same phone number? And you say yes. You say, okay, we're going to text you a 6-digit number. And when you tell us the 6-digit number, then we're going to let you access your account. Twilio is the platform that they're built on, because Twilio integrates voice over internet protocol and telephone and text and internet and email, and they intercode them so that the platform can be built on them. And so every time you're in a company that's doing that, they're sending me a check because I own options on Twilio. And this call option in 6 months, Twilio made 3,000%. That's 30 times your money. Turned $2,000 into 62 grand in 6 months. And it's still happening, and it's just at the beginning. You see these people are trading in and out and trying to guess what it's going to do. All they're doing is giving me an opportunity to buy a few more and to let you buy in. Anyway, this is my system. It is simply buying platform companies that are digital transformation companies. But anyway, here's my classes. I do them in 5 lessons, and I do them on video like this, and then I send you a copy of it. I show you how to identify these opportunities, how to evaluate them and read their balance sheets and profit and loss and know how much money they're making and understand them well. And then I show you how to acquire them, which of these long-term options should you buy and when would you roll it over? How do you know which one is the right value? And then how to monitor them, and then how to take profits and when to sell them. It's simple to get your brain around, but I don't tell you it's easy. There's a lot to learn in it, but it's manageable and it's a lot easier than being short of money. So we establish a practice account. And what happens is everything I show you, then you get the video of the lesson. And then till the next lesson,
You get to stop the video and go in and duplicate exactly what I was showing you and learn exactly how to do it and get very good at it, get confident with it. And my warranty is that if at the end of those 5 lessons you tell me I don't have it, I need more, I'm sticking with you until you tell me, okay, I got it. And then when you're ready to actually start doing it for money, you get to do it, but I'll be there with you on Zoom and watch what you're doing and make sure that first time you do it, you don't make any mistakes, gives you confidence. And that is my program. Let me just show you what they say. And you can talk to these people and you can talk to a lot of them, as many of them as you want. But this is Bob Hughes. He owns a mechanical air conditioning company, which he now wants to sell because he's making so much money. But he says, I've doubled my money in about 2 months using Dan's strategies and taking profits. The leverage you get with these options is incredible. Thank you, Dan and Alicia, for sharing the wisdom. Here's a lawyer from Texas, actually. He says, I was surprised to see what a high percentage results can be obtained with small dollar amounts. While learning, I look forward to additional epiphanies and moments that I'm sure are going to occur. And this is a very successful guy, smart guy. And he says, I recommend Dan's class on options. I believe anyone who wants to be very successful in the stock market needs this training. The training will provide tremendous return on your investment. It is not difficult to understand, but few investors seem to know about it.
I've probably been searching for the holy grail, something that I could trade and create an income, because I don't, I've got about 300 grand for retirement. So I'm still working. So I get inundated. You click one button on the computer and you got 20 people calling you day trade. I could tell you the names and you probably recognize them.
So yeah, I'm familiar with them.
So, but I see the trick is to know when to get in, what to buy when you get in, it appears.
It's to know what to buy more than the timing of it, because
right. Well, so one of your people said I doubled my money in 2 months. Now I don't.
Well, you got lucky.
Yeah, but it looks to me like it could be the kind of thing that you could create some type of income flow based on.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wait a year or 2 years.
No.
Here's this pile of money, and so I can look at it and I can watch it. And once you get rolling, I could say, okay, I don't need to hold this for 3 years. I can hold it for 6 months or 2 months, and then I can create a rolling effect.
That's right.
With a certain amount of it, not
some
all
of it. You can keep some of it rolling, and some of it take it off the table.
Philosophically, I agree with you 100%.
You only have to turn on your TV to know millions of Americans feel like they live in an unfair system that's leaving them behind. The point here is, it isn't their fault. Poor families bring up their kids to believe in just showing up for work, doing your job, saving a little money, and maybe you'll have some freedom when you're 80 years old. Rich families teach their kids right from the beginning to use capital to let other people do the work for them. They teach them that the point is to learn to do it with other people's money, OPM. That way, they can have unlimited growth and amass unlimited wealth. Rich people are talking offense, not defense. My mission is to teach you how to own companies and let thousands of people work for you. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett weren't born rich, and neither was I. You can learn how to do this. Now, there's never going to be a better moment for you to join our stock accumulation plan and take advantage of the biggest opportunity in 100 years. Folks, this is your time. My 5-part signature course lets you get started immediately. It's hands-on, and you do it with me personally. Now, we get you started in a practice account where you use only play money until you master the whole thing. Just to be able to show you how it works, I made a real account and put $27,000 of real cash in it on August 1st of 2020. Just take a few seconds and watch the progress up until February 9th of 2021 when I'm making this video. Now this is exactly what you're going to learn to do. Our students make a lot of money and they stay with us forever. And we have all kinds of tools for them to use, including a lot of original research, investment ideas, and personal support. There's no waiting on hold for hours. There's no waiting for weeks to get a call back. Now listen to this.
I'll tell you, Dan, it's been awesome, man. I probably cleared about $80,000. And the times that I screwed it up was when I didn't follow your guidance. You know, I didn't control enough shares, or I took a risky chance. But you know, I'm just on the verge now. I can see with the forward option that I purchased at 10 cents, 100 contracts in it, it's going to probably get me to that 30 times my money. And I heard you say that to me a year ago, and I thought there's no way that you can make an investment and you're going to see 30 times your money. And I believe Ford's going to do that for me, Dan. But man, I just want to personally thank you for the time that you know, for the gentleman on the phone. What you don't know is I was in a dark place when Dan pulled me in under his wing, and he spent hours with me, keeping my mind off of what I was going through and teaching me how to trade options. And Dan, it's been an amazing journey for me, man. And I just want to thank you for it.
You'll get so good at this, it will come naturally to you. You'll learn to identify the opportunities to make the kind of money I just showed you. You'll get great at evaluating them, and you'll naturally pick the fastest growing, safest, and most profitable companies. Next, you're going to learn the best way to acquire them, getting the most out of each dollar. That's what we call leverage. You're going to monitor each of your investments, and you'll know exactly when and how to take your profits. We're talking about our stock accumulation plan, and you're doing the same thing the Silicon Valley employees are doing, but you don't have to go to work in their company. We have a beginner group and a group for people with more experience starting next week. And if we're a good match for each other, we love to invite you to join our community. I teach each lesson on video, and you can do it right from home, completely safe, no exposure to anybody. I do each lesson live, and then we send you the video. You get to stop the video, take your time, understand this right from the start. My work is perfect for people who want the financial rewards and are willing to take the time and effort to understand what they're investing in and how to make real money investing in changing the world. It's exactly wrong for people who don't want to take the trouble to do the research. Our system is simple, but it's not easy. You have to let the system work. We aren't traders, and we're not about diversification, and we're not playing not to lose. We're not about saving a little money and having some freedom when you're 80. We're about using our brains and making real money by putting our money into specific companies that are making a difference. Alicia, our director, is brilliant at knowing just where to start you. Now, we've got a few more seats left for the next sessions, and she's going to speak to you personally to make sure we're right for each other. Whether you join us or not, you will get a free full-month membership to my inner circle. No credit card, no baloney. It is completely on the house. Alicia is going to give you your login personally.
Here's the easy remedy for too much data and too little insight to make you money. Each week in his live video market and economy update to his inner circle, Dan Frischberg delivers the top-of-the-line, in-depth, professional version of his famous Market X-ray report, live and interactive. That means you get to ask all the questions you wish. For those who can't make the live video meeting, you can watch the report on demand at your convenience and email any questions you have. We'll either answer them by email or include the answers in the next live report. Week in and week out, Dan brings you the ideas and specific stock picks of his friends, the people you see on TV and read about in the Wall Street papers and get to know on the Money Man Report. What they're buying, and just as important, how they're hedging and when they're taking money off the table. Unlike any other teacher on Wall Street, Dan isn't the least bit interested in puffed-up returns like the 280% you're sure to make in just 3 days on some new uranium mine or cure for cancer. Making real money on solid investments is just the beginning, because the real guys all know the true secret of success that eludes the other 99% of investors. You haven't really made any money until you get those profits off the table. At last, you'll get to see how the insiders negotiate the institutional macroeconomic bonds that the billionaires on Wall Street rely on and almost everyone else never even heard of. You'll benefit from Dan's well-known multi-year study of which experts have been right most of the time. He'll share with you, as an Inner Circle member, a lifetime of experience. He'll guide you to the best teachers, the best stock pickers, the best option strategists. You'll be invited to exclusive working vacations in beautiful locations for the Inner Circle only, where you'll get to meet other people just like you. You'll rub elbows with some of the most famous investors on Wall Street who'll fly in to show you their latest discoveries and tactics. So, how do you value the lifetime of skill and experience of a top investor on a mission to share it all with you and help you become one of the few winners? Is it worth half your profits forever? Probably. If you've been listening to Dan for a few years, he's already made you tons of money, or even more important, saved you from losing a fortune. For a limited number of members, because there are limits to the capacity of the online video market X-ray sessions. For all the information you need to know about subscribing, please click on the orange button.
Here's a link if you want a high priority response, but we will definitely get to every one of you. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to getting to know you personally. Let's change the world and change our lives together.